In our world today, many frightening events occur, but it's even more spine-chilling when they take place in hospitals and morgues. Witnesses are often left bewildered as these occurrences defy logic and explanation. Although some of these bizarre happenings have been caught on camera, watching them unfold is enough to send chills down one's spine. We've compiled a selection of the top 5 scariest moments that were captured in morgues and hospitals. Join us as we delve into these unsettling phenomena. Number 5. Unknown spirit in ambulance. This video was taken in Peru in front of a hospital, and in the video you can see an ambulance parked there, and waiting with a staff member perhaps picking up or dropping off something in the vehicle. Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary, even after the staff leaves the ambulance. However, the door of the ambulance was left open. Within a few seconds later, the door mysteriously closes on its own, and there was no one in sight. Could it have been the wind? Well, maybe. Passerbys didn't seem to notice this occurrence, as some people passed by the vehicle and didn't see anything strange. This was because the incident happened a few moments before they both passed beside the vehicle. It's presumed that there was no one inside of the ambulance when the door shut suddenly, and some may think that would have happened due to strong wind, but that's not a valid explanation for this strange occurrence. There were no signs of strong wind and pressure visible from other parts of the environment captured by the camera. Now, you might have thought that you'd seen it all, but if you look closely through the window and into the ambulance, you can see that there are movements made by a figure inside of the vehicle, and suddenly the door begins to open again. Could it have been the soul of one of the patients who just died, or was it someone who had once worked there as a driver in the hospital? It still leaves us confused as there's no actual explanation for what the security camera captured other than the fact that most ambulances carry a staff of 2 people. But what do I really know? Number 4. Doctor Spirit. There's a saying that when a person dies, the soul often leaves the body and visits the area where the person died. We will be examining such cases in this video. The footage you're watching was taken in Honduras by a man visiting the hospital, and as he pointed his camera toward the end of the hallway, several stretchers were seen, so it was a hospital setting. All seemed to be well and good in the health institution, until the most bizarre incident happened. All of a sudden, a strange flash is seen at the entrance of a door on the right. This flash was attributed to a strange figure as it was captured on the camera moving in and out of the doorway, as if checking to see if the coast was clear before moving out completely into the hall. The man recording the video became startled by the figure which appeared to be floating down the hall. It appeared to take the shape of a man, and due to this, several people have the narrative that it is the soul of a particular doctor who once worked at the health institution and then committed suicide on the hospital grounds for unknown reasons. Petrified at what he had witnessed with his camera still in his hands, a man took a few steps back to examine the situation from afar by hiding behind a door. I would also recommend running, as nobody would love to wait and see what happens with a spirit. But what do you think the man captured with his camera? Do you think it's the doctor's spirit as alleged by people? Or maybe it was something else? Number 3. Weird figure seen in hospital ruins. This video was taken by a cameraman amongst a group of people who decided to explore an abandoned hospital. As they made progress through the hospital, the person yielding the camera was the last in the group's line. In the process of making a video and taking shots, he felt a chill run down his spine. This chill or feeling is synonymous with all humans, as it's what we feel when we're being followed or even watched. It's been a feeling that's imbibed in humans from the time we were hunted by beasts several centuries ago. Being the last of the group, he had this feeling, which prompted him to turn and see if anything was behind him. He made this turn with the camera, capturing his back view, but did not see anything, or so he thought. When he later checked the video coverage, he saw the greatest shock of his entire life. When he checked the video, the cameraman saw that there was a ghostly figure captured by the camera, which he had not noticed when he turned back. This sighting made the rest of the group doubt if one of them was behind them, but the cameraman insisted that he always ensured to be the last of the group to get perfect video coverage. This means that if he was the last person, the hallway is meant to be empty. Instead, the camera caught a glimpse of this thin, eerie figure you're looking at presently. If the cameraman was the last person on the line of adventures, who was that figure? Could it have been the soul of a patient that had passed away in the hospital, and why was it lurking around the people? Number 2. Ghost floating on movie set. This footage would be taken from the set of Postcards, a 2008 Pasadena City College student film. It was uploaded on YouTube by Trevor Heasley in August of 2016, after discovering paranormal activity in one of the images. The footage would be taken alongside the film shoot, which was done at the Metropolitan State Mental Hospital. And during the filming process in this hospital, the cast and crew that were present for the film heard strange noises and had weird experiences while they were there, but didn't see anything responsible unusual. This simply made them assume that it was probably some old pipe settling or metal clanging, and that was what they thought until Trevor got back home and decided to review the videos that he had recorded while on set. In the footage that was recorded, the State Mental Hospital looked spooky to begin with. Darkened windows glorified the entire building despite being a hot summer day. As the footage progressed further, it showed several areas and locations within the hospital, and the camera also captured some good times on the shoot, but nothing prepared them for what the camera was about to see. As the crew began to film a particular scene, a vapor-thin figure suddenly appears. This figure appeared to walk across the hallway just as the crew began to film at that moment. In the scene, 2 cast members were completely oblivious of what was in front of them and ran through the hallway also in front of the camera. The figure can be seen floating across just before the cast passes through. But what could this floating figure have been? Could it have been the true spirit of a patient, or perhaps the spirit of what was once an actor or actress, but also wanted to be featured in the scene? Nobody has an exact explanation for sure, but how about you? Number 1. Ghost in hospital gown. This footage would be taken in 2020 by a YouTuber named Kayleigh Love that explored an abandoned hospital in South Wales. Although they explored this abandoned health institution in broad daylight, the camera would capture what seemed to be a ghost girl in a hospital gown, watching her as she filmed and walked through the mental asylum. Kayleigh filmed the entire building's interior, but had no idea that she was actually being watched by a creepy paranormal figure.
That's pretty cool, that is. Smells like an hospital in this.
When she completed her filming of the abandoned ruins, she then uploaded the content to her YouTube channel, and nobody seemed to notice the weird sighting of a creepy paranormal figure in a hospital gown until a particular viewer would note the figure and brought it to their attention. It was then that Kayleigh had discovered that she was actually being watched and had no idea about it at the time. When she would later be asked for further details about how the ghost was found, she said in a statement, "I received a message from a subscriber informing me of what I may have missed during the footage itself. When I went back to review this footage and the screenshots of the evidence, it became apparent that I had caught something of a paranormal nature. The contents of the video show Kayleigh walking down a corridor after filming a section of the building's interior, and then moving the camera sideways before focusing it on a doorway. This doorway, which was once an exit to the corridor at the end of the hall, was where the ghostly figure would be spotted. Kayleigh explained that the figure of this shape has the figure of a lady with black hair who seems to be dressed in an old-fashioned hospital gown. She would go on to further say that the figure was looming in the doorway for a while, all before disappearing into a wall. In the video, you can see Kayleigh fumbling a bit with her camera as it moves left and right until it finally becomes balanced and focused straight ahead towards the doorway. You can see the strange figure walking to the right-hand side and then disappearing into the wall. One major thing that baffled Kayleigh about the capture of this strange figure was that this entire filming was made in broad daylight. So, expecting to see a ghost was not at the top of her list when she went exploring in the building. She said, "The one time I wasn't actively seeking any paranormal evidence is the time it presents itself." Also, while she was at the old abandoned hospital, Kayleigh recalled that she had the feeling of being watched, and now the discovery of this ghost figure in the hospital gown proves her thoughts right. So, trust yourself. You never know what might lurk in the shadows or in broad daylight. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. Please share your opinions with me by leaving a comment in the section below.